Good afternoon everyone, and I hope you're all well. In this video, what I'm going to be discussing is temporary recruitment, also known as contract recruitment. And what I'm going to be discussing is pretty much everything you need to know if you're looking to start offering a service as a contract recruiter, or you just want to know about it and see when the time's right, what exactly do I have to do, what's the benefits, and what exactly do I have to do and have in place for you to start offering a temporary recruitment service. Now, temporary differs from permanent recruitment. Permanent recruitment is you're just getting paid for the introduction, and for the temporary recruitment, you would be paid per day, per hour from the client, and the worker you'll be paying directly. So there's a sort of triangle going on, and it's slightly different and more complex. I must say, I made a video, I'll link it in the description, on how to start a temporary recruitment agency, because it is slightly different. And I must say, it's not newbie friendly. So if you're new to recruitment, you don't know anything about the subject, probably you need to actually start with permanent recruitment. That's what I advise everyone to do. I do 99% of my recruitment is permanent recruitment. So what I'm going to touch on is the legal issues, the things you have to have in place, including insurance. I'm also going to touch on how to pay, who we pay, how we get paid as well, and also what contracts are needed to be in place. So it's going to cover a broad topic. I'm not I'm qualified solicitor, but I'm not operating, I'm not licensed to actually give legal advice. So I'm going to give you advice for you to do your own research. I can't recommend any solicitor or anything like that. So that's up to you to look into and see if you can. You don't need the solicitor, but you can obviously go from there. So first thing I want to touch on is the legal issue. So legally speaking, when you are a permanent recruiter, you have no legal ties with the candidate. They are not your employee. You are just providing an introduction. Yeah. But if they are actually your employee and you're doing a temporary recruitment, you're actually legally entitled, you're legally bound by that candidate. So you would need liability insurance, you would need employee liability insurance, and you would also need indemnity insurance. I definitely recommend that. And you would also need one other insurance that's dropped from my head, but you would need that, exactly those insurances from there. So it differs from permanent recruitment. You don't need any insurance. Now legally, they're your employee, so you will have to provide them with a pension. You'll have to provide them and pay their national insurance as well, and also pay employers' national insurance. Now, if you're doing your own payroll yourself, which I don't recommend, I would definitely look at an umbrella company. Now, how an umbrella company will help you is the contract will be between the worker and the umbrella company. So they would sign them up. Yeah. So there is a bit of compliance involved. So when you onboard a worker, you want to make sure they have rights to work in the UK, and you want to verify their identity, and you want their bank account, and you also want to do checks on them to say, look, who's your next of kin, where have you worked last, you reference check them, and sometimes depending on the sector you would do a DBS check, which is a background check. So there is compliance involved. As a permanent recruiter, you won't be doing any of that. Now, an umbrella company will help you with a lot of that. They have application forms that they'll send you, and you onboard it, you send it to the candidate, fill it out, send it to the umbrella company, and they're on your books. How also the umbrella company will help you. I sound like a salesman for an umbrella company, but I definitely recommend everyone in recruitment would use an umbrella company, unless you get to a substantial size and you can hire someone on the compliance side, and you can hire someone to do the account side. Now, with how you would pay an employee, the client would pay you directly to you, and you would pay the worker. With the umbrella company, they sign up the client, they invoice the client, and then they send you the pay or what's remaining in terms of profit. So they deal with all the paperwork, compliance, and also they deal with the payroll, which is probably the most essential part, because they have in-house accountants. They're very good. Now, umbrella companies will charge a fee. They charge each worker, depending on what service you're using and what company, they'll probably pay around, or charge the employee about £25 a week, let's say roughly, as a sort of admin fee. And what they do is they charge you off your invoice probably about anywhere from 2 to 7%. It's usually around the 4 or 5% mark. So if you bill £100, let's say, you got to give them £4 of every pound, or 4 pence of every pound you make off of that. So hope that makes sense to you. Now, with the contract as well, like I said, you'll be dealing directly with the umbrella company and they will be dealing with the contracts involved. Legally speaking, you will not have any legal obligation to that employee because the umbrella company will have that. So make sure compliance is done correctly, because the umbrella company won't do business with workers that don't send in their rights to work, etc. So it can be a bit of a mundane task. If you aren't using an umbrella company, it really becomes a full-time job, let alone actually recruiting. So you want to just focus on the recruitment. Now, it sounds very negative, this video. However, 80% of all recruitment spend by companies is done through temporary recruitment. So the market is gigantic. It's more than 3 times the size of permanent recruitment. And it's not to say you can get those really nice contract roles where you're earning 200, 300 pounds per day off an employee that's there contracted for 6 months. So it looks like with temporary recruitment, you could be doing minimum wage, let's say cleaners. You could have 20 cleaners out and you could be earning on pretty much every day, you know, 200 pounds a day, and not really doing too much, just making sure the workers show up. Now, once that sort of move on, if they're there for long term, you can actually have 10 grand rolling every single month, just keeping at that level, and you can achieve that from one client. I'll give you another example on the low skilled side, a warehouse. So if you grab a big warehouse and you go down and you meet with them and they say, look, we need 70 staff in, and you can provide that service and you can find people to work there every day, 70 people, you'll probably be making about 20, 30 grand turnover per week off of that. So it's big money and there's not really too much to do once the people go there. Now, if you're dealing with 70 workers, chances are you're going to be very, very busy, extremely busy. You'll probably be hiring someone at that stage, but it's very achievable and it's very competitive. However, it's a huge demand, especially around Christmas time. These warehouse workers, they're really, really in demand. So on the sort of contract side, there's not too much more to discuss. It is complex. If you want my opinion, I would definitely recommend starting with permanent recruitment and then moving on to temporary. There will be a time where an employer will say to you, do you do contract roles? Do you do temporary positions? And at that stage, you want to be saying, yeah, we do. But it's complex. There's a lot to learn with it. And there's obviously legal obligations. You have to have the right insurance in place. So there's an extra cost, especially when you're starting up. So this is why I recommend starting with permanent recruitment, getting some money, get some invoices out, and then you can start to look at how do I do this? What's the best way to approach it? And how can I invest my resources and funds to actually start facilitating it? Because at some stage you will have to get involved in temporary recruitment, because that's where really, really and truly the ongoing money is, especially on the IT contract market. If you're looking to do IT recruitment, the contract market, it's just full of it. I mean, if you get a developer out at £600 a day, you're probably going to be charging £150. If you got 5 guys out, you're probably making £500-600 per day. And usually they're signed up to projects, so it's usually a 3-month, 8-month, 9-month contract. So really and truly, you are making 60 grand per developer if they're there for a year, which is very, very good money off of that. And your business looks good because your turnover will be gigantic off of that. And there's not really too much cost involved other than the umbrella company deals with it. And really and truly, you've just got a client, you've done the same thing. So there is a lot to set up. How I would approach it is contact an umbrella company and just say, look, I'm looking to, start a temporary desk recruitment agency. What do I need to set up? And they will guide you through everything. And that's exactly what I done. And they sent me a pack and I've got all the details. They'll send you, like a rates calculator I've got, so I can work out how much I charge. I can send it to clients if they say, how much do you charge? What's your rates? So that's pretty much what you want to sort of look at and do. There's tons of umbrella companies. It's more competitive than you would think. If you contact a few, they're going to chase you, they're going to follow up because they want your business, because all they do really and truly is just count the money and send you your little cut. They don't have to actually do anything off of that. And if you send them a lot of workers, they're going to be making a lot of money. I mean, if you're sending them 10 grand, they're making £400 off you just for doing that. And they make money from each candidate as well. So if you've got 100 workers out and they're all charging £25, they're going to be making two and a half grand just for I mean, they probably use bloody software that does it all. So I hope that helped explain a little bit in terms of contract recruitment. And this is probably specific to the UK. Across the world probably differs, but it's pretty much the same sort of process. So yeah, hope that helped. Any questions, let me know. The link in the description is how to start a temporary recruitment agency as well. So I hope that helped. Take care.